So today we're going to be running fillet welds and outside corner welds on the new HTP Pro Pulse 220 MTS. So I got the settings, inductance, everything that I use on this. Once again, I'm using coupons from Weld Metals online. And these ones are 1/8 inch coupons and they're 8 inches long. So a nice long run, that's good for MIG welding. Gives you a chance to actually start and finish. The 4-inch ones are good for TIG, but for MIG, it's not going to last very long. Anyways, actually Weld Metals online made me an affiliate link, so if you use it, then I can buy more coupons and do more stuff. Alright, well, let's get to it. So voltage on spray transfer and pulse is your arc length, so the length from where it starts spraying off to the workpiece. So the higher voltage, the longer of an arc length you're going to have. And with short circuit, what we're doing here, it's controlling your bead width, so how wide of a puddle you're going to get. So down here, super narrow, up here, super wide. So the settings that I ran on here was 236 inches per minute of 030 wire. It's ER70S-6 wire and 19.1 volts. And the way that I can get away with running a super low wire speed with a higher voltage is my inductance is up at 100. So the inductance on this machine goes from 25% to 200%. So if your machine isn't HTP like this, if you set it somewhere in the middle, it should be pretty dang close. If you don't set it somewhere in the middle, and you leave it, it's going to be too hard of an arc, and you're going to have problems with it starting. So this is the bead with 25% inductance. This is the bead with 100% inductance. So you can see this one, the arc was super erratic and it was spattering everywhere. Couldn't really see what you're doing through all the spatter, and it's just a nasty way to do it if you're using this technique. So with this technique, I'm using a drag angle, but it's really only about 5 to 10 degrees. So this is 90. It's pointing backwards about that much, just a little bit. And if you do a drag angle, it'll help cut into the root just a little better, but you'll end up with a more crowned up bead. If you push, it's a little harder to get into that root, but it's a lot softer looking bead, like smooth. But this technique works best with the push or with the drag because you need all the penetration you can get with it. So how I like to hold the torch, I'm a lefty, so I'll hold it in my left hand and kind of grip it right here with my right. If you're a righty, hold it in your right, grip right here. You can do it any way you want, but this is what I've found is more comfortable with this. So I use a Tape Finger XL when I'm MIG welding at home. At work I just have thick gloves. Here I cheap out and buy these Harbor Freight Mechanics gloves. So I just use that to slide and to protect my knuckles from the heat. So all I'm doing when I start is I'll do a slight up and down motion just to get the bead going, let it soak in both the top and bottom. And I just have this angle so you can see what I'm doing just a little bit better. So once I get that going, I'm just going to drag forward into the root, so the wire is literally into the root. And once I drag just a little ways past where the edge of this circle that you started with was, I'll push backwards into the puddle slightly, and it's just far enough to where these toes tie into this last circle, this last dime. And once I have that, I'll drag forward, push back till it ties in. And when I'm pushing back, it's just slight, and I'm letting it fill in, and then drag it forward, push back till it's that size. And it's a real consistent back and forth basically, and you're just doing that the whole way. And however long you stay and wait in that puddle is how high up this is going to crown. So it's just kind of trial and error, but usually it's just enough to see that the toes tie in, and then I'll go again, and that works real nice. And the more consistent you can do it, the more consistent of a bead width and ripple pattern spacing that you're going to get. So when I tacked it up, I put just a slight gap in there. Not enough for the wire to shoot through, but just enough, and that'll help with just a tiny bit of penetration. With this technique, you don't get that much, but that'll help. So on this, I'm using manual MIG mode. On the HTP, you just hit that twice, it'll go to manual. I'm running 17 volts and 175 inches per minute on 030 wire. And then the key for this is 100% inductance on that. So it goes from 25 all the way up to 200%. So right in the middle, so if you can adjust your inductance on your machine, if you can put it right in the middle, you should be pretty close on this. If I had the inductance lower, it would be really unstable and pop a ton with the low wire speed that I'm running. But since I can turn it up, it'll make up for that. So this is that outside corner, and I just used the same technique that I used for the fillet weld. And because I had that gap in there, you can see that it's just starting to penetrate through. If I didn't do that, there wouldn't be any penetration on the root. Alright guys, that does it for today's video. Hopefully you learned something about the settings that I use. Hopefully you can run them on your machine at home, come up with results like this. If you have any inquiries, just email me. My email's in the description below. Like this video if it helped you. Subscribe if you're not. And follow me on Instagram at 5th Street Fam. I also got a list of my affiliate links, like the Weld Metals coupons if you want to get 10% off that. It's in the description. I got the welders that I use, the Invertig, the Pro Pulse, and just random Amazon tools that I use in the shop. Alright, thank you guys. You have a good one.